So today we'll start the Node.js with MongoDB. So the steps to do that is first we create a new Node.js project, and then we'll install some packages. One of the package which we install is MongoDB, and then we'll write the code for MongoDB in the Node.js. So let's create a new project, and then we'll install MongoDB, and then we'll write the code. So as soon as I go with it, you should follow me and try to do same thing. So let me open the Node.js folder. I'll create a new folder in the Node.js. I will name it as Node Mongo. So you also create a folder in your Node.js folder, and I will now initialize my Node project by saying npm init. As soon as I say npm init, it will ask few questions and I have to answer it. I'll just press enter and take the default answer, whatever it is asking. Okay, so as soon as I'm done with this step, you will see package.json is created. Since I mentioned that index.js is my main file, but we are not really going into the main file, so we will be we'll create index.js, but we will not use it for now. So just create index.js file, but we'll not be using it now in today's project. Okay, so just create this folder with index.js file and package.json file, and we'll be creating different files here. I will also copy gitignore file from the node 2 to my node Mongo, so that it should not commit my node modules folder. So just create a new node folder and run npm init, and we'll go from there in 1 minute. Okay, so I hope everyone has completed the steps here by creating npm init, and the package.json file is created. Now, so let me install one package so that I can use the MongoDB. So the package is called Npm Install Mongodb. So I have to install the package MongoDB to access the MongoDB. So let's run the Npm Install Mongodb. And now you will see in the node module folder, my MongoDB is installed, and then I can utilize MongoDB now for my project. So let's create the first file here in the Mongo this node Mongo folder. I will name it as 01, and here I will see all the databases in my uh, MongoDB application. So first file I will create is called list database.js. So this is my first file, list database, where I will try to see all the databases in my MongoDB application. So first step is we need to call the MongoDB module. So to call the MongoDB module, I'll say constant Mongo client equal to require MongoDB. So from the MongoDB, I will get the Mongo client, and this Mongo client will be used in all my Mongo calls. Okay. So just add this line, first line in this file, and then we'll write the code. So here I will create a couple of functions. First function which I will create is called the list databases. So this function will show all the databases in my Mongo client, and this will be asynchronous call, and this is a function. Another function I will create is called the main. Main is also asynchronous function, and so when this file will run, I will call the main function, and main function will call the list databases. So that's how the procedure will go. So I will call the main function here. Right now, if I run this file, nothing will happen because we have not written any code in the main. So to get the databases, all the databases, everyone has installed the MongoDB in their system as we were doing parse server. So everyone has MongoDB. So I'll show you my compass. This is my compass. So here all my databases are there. Okay, so these are the list of databases which I have here in my MongoDB. Okay, so we will be creating a new database now for today's work, and then we'll go from there. So right now we have so many databases. I want to list all the databases. That is the task which I'm doing it now. So to get the databases, first is the connection. We need to do connection. So for connection, we want a URL. If you remember, in our React, we have the we have this connection string MongoDB localhost, this master. See this part what we have here. We are creating the master database. So this is the URI which we use to access the MongoDB. So same thing we will do here. We will create first the URI. So what is the URI? It's MongoDB //localhost 27017 /. Right now I'm not specifying any database here. I'm just calling the MongoDB client. Okay, so now let's see what we will do with this URI. So we will create a connection to this URI. So let's do the connection. So for connection, we need to call the Mongo client. So here I will say constant client is equal to new Mongo client, and here I will pass the URI. So this URI has to be passed here in this Mongo client. So we will get the client. Now we have to take this client and connect to the Mongo application. So to do that, we will say, I will put try catch block. Let's put try catch block here. Or we will put try catch block after the client. Okay, so here I will say await client dot connect. So we will wait till the client is connected. So to connect to the Mongo application, I have to use client dot connect, but it has to be appended with await so that it's a asynchronous call. Okay, it will take time to connect to the Mongo server. So we have to wait till it connects to the server. Okay, here is the client is connected. Now, once the client is connected, we can call the list database to get the database list for that client. And here in the error, I can say console.log error is error.message. If something wrong happens, so we'll just show the error. And after we are done with this step, I will just say await client.close. So after we are done with these steps, in the end, we need to close the connection. We need to close the client. So it will say close. So let's run this now. Nothing will happen because we haven't called the list database. It will only connect the client. And if we get error, we will see error. And if an error is not coming, that means client is connected. Let's do console.log of client, which has a very big list of objects, which is meaningless for now. But I'll just do that. I'll run this file node 01. So you will see error is not coming, and I'm getting a list of key value pairs, which is the client, which is meaningless for now. Okay, so before I write this list database call, just finish this main function in 1 minute, and then we'll write the database function to see how many database we have. Okay, so I hope you have completed this main function. Now we will write down the code to list the database. Generally, this code is not needed. You don't list the database. This is only the one time just to see how to call the database, list database. So once the client is connected, we need this client to access the database. So we need to pass this client here in the database. So I will pass client as a first parameter in the list database. And then here I will write down the code to access the database. So I'll say constant list equal to, so to access the database, we have to say client.db. Since we want to access database, I'll say db.admin. So since this list database is kind of admin activity, so we have to call admin. And here I will say list databases. And this is the asynchronous call, so we have to use await statement here. Once I call this, it will go to the list databases and put all the list here. And now we will see what is coming inside the list. List is, I will print the list. Okay, now we have to call this list database from here after we connect to the client. If you don't connect to the client, then list database will not work. So here I will say await list databases, and here I have to pass client as a parameter. So this client will be passed to list databases, and which will go here, and we will here list all the database. That's how it will work. Let's run it again. So as soon as I run, you will see list is, it is an object, and in the object first parameter is databases. So instead of list, I can say list.databases. I will run it again. So now you will see list is an array of all databases. So these are the databases I have, and it will show the size of each database, and it will show the whether it's a empty or non-empty, and we have list of all the database. Okay, so how to get the list of all database? We can use the for loop to go through each databases like this. I can say list.databases.for each, and then I can do console.log of db is db.name. I will print the name, and here we will get db. So when I run this for each, I will get this db, and db.name I have to print. That is the name I am printing. So let me delete this one. Let's run it again. So you will see these are the list of database which I have. Okay, just write down this code, list database, and then call this list database from here main. Okay. So I hope you have completed this one and run it to see the output. Okay, now let's go to another file. So whenever we write the code, generally we need to learn CRUD operations. CRUD is create, read, update, and delete. So we should master these four techniques for any database which we will learn. Like in the past server also we did all this one, and for MongoDB also we will do this four activities to understand the MongoDB. When we do MySQL also, we'll do all these four activities. Any database, we have to do all these four activities. Once you know all these, you can build anything. Okay. So now let's go to another file. So first thing which we will do is the create. Okay. So this part, create part, we will do. So I will name another file 02 create.js. So we will start writing the create part here. So how the things work in the MongoDB? So in the MongoDB, first we have the database, which I showed you. This is the list of database. So generally, you can have one database for your one project. But in the past server, we were creating only one database and we were putting multiple projects in that. That is also possible. One second. Okay, so generally one project is for one database, but in past server, since I was using only one database and multiple projects I was putting in the one database, but that is also fine. But if you're writing your own code, it is advisable you can create one project with one database. Okay, so let's write down the code something here. So what happened? We have database, and inside database we have collections. Now this collections is similar to the tables in the MySQL database. So this collection will have multiple records. So it will have records. So for example, if you want to build a job website, so what collections you will create, what tables you will be creating? You can create a users table, then you can create a list of jobs, so jobs table. You can create another table called as resumes. User will upload their resumes and profile. And then if you want to apply any job, so you can create another table, maybe applied jobs. In that you can take the job ID from the jobs collection, and you can take resume ID from the resumes collection, and resume ID, and then maybe you can write down applied on which date you applied, or maybe created at, updated at. If you want to build similar to the path server, you can also add ACL property here. This is the extension, but writing ACL will be too much for our understanding or our class. But in practical, you can add it, or you can use directly path server, which automatically adds that one. In the resume, what fields you can add? You can add resume ID. So ID is already there is a default ID, which is like this, which is created for every table or every collection. So we can have ID, and then you can have a resume file location. You can upload the file on the server and put the file location here. Then you can take the name of the candidate. You can take description of the candidate. Maybe you can add education. Maybe you can add you know, work experience. And then you can add. So this is something you can build the collections, which is similar to tables in the MySQL database. And we can put the records based on each one, created at, updated at. And if we are making more advanced, we can add ACL also. Same thing for the jobs. You can say ID is already there. Then you have the job name or title, job title, job description. Then you can have the job technologies which you want to see, technologies. Then you can have technologies, job created at, updated at. Okay, and then you can have job type like full-time, permanent, full-time, or contract, something like that. You can have the job location. Okay, the job location you can put as a latitude and longitude so that you can also search based on the radius. Okay, so job location, what else we need? Created by whom? So created by which user has created this one. And here also I can put user ID. Okay, so this is something. And in the users, we have the ID, then the username, password, name of the user, gender of the user. Maybe created here. Every table has created at, like in password we have. Okay, so like this you can build different types of collection. These are the collections. Okay, see, these are the collections. And these are the records. These are the field names actually. For each field, we will create multiple records. Okay, so for user can have user 1, 2, 3, all will be a separate record. Okay, like this we created. So first thing is we need to understand how to create the collection, and then we need to understand how to create the record. When you go with the MySQL in the table, you have to predefine all these fields in the database table. So for example, this is the MySQL table. So these are the databases. If I go to each database, we have the tables. Here are the tables, and for each table, we have the predefined details. Okay. So all fields are predefined. You don't define it at the runtime. You have the predefined field names. But in the MongoDB, you don't need to define this predefine this in the database. You can do it live when you write the code. So that's what we will see. So first thing is we need to see how to create the collection, that is the table, and then we'll go to this part. Okay, let's try to create the collections now. And then next create part will be to create the record. Let's do the collection creation now. So what we are doing? We are doing the collection creation. So create another file, and we'll say constant Mongo client. Same thing what we did there. Previously require MongoDB. So we got the Mongo client, and then here I will only create one function where I will create the collection. Async, and I'll call this main function. So when we are using the express, we will call this main function from the express routing. But right now we are trying to understand how to work in the MongoDB. So we're not writing the express part of the Node.js. We're just writing directly how to connect to database, how to create the things. So let's try to create a collection now here. So first in same thing URI, we have to create the URI, that is MongoDB / localhost 27017. If you're using Atlas or server side MongoDB, then you will get this string from that server. Since we are using localhost, so we are using this string. But if you have Atlas or server side URL of the Mongo, you will get from the third-party website who has given you the MongoDB. Okay, what is the problem? User jobs are different tables. Okay, so let me see. So user, this is a users table for the login purpose. This is the job creation. So user who is logged in, he can create job. And if he is a job finder, then he will put the resume. And then he will apply to different jobs which is available on the site. Okay, that's how it is work. Okay, so user part, today we'll not go with user part, but in future we will see how to go the user part, because we need to create the JWT token and allow the user to log in. That we'll see later. So, but here in this class, we are trying to learn how to create the records. Basically, we'll see the records. Okay, so first task is we have to create the URI. Second thing is we need to get the client. So this is everywhere we have to use the same procedure. New Mongo client, and I pass the URI. Then I will use the try, and I will use the catch block, and I will close the connection. Here client is created. I have to connect to the client.connect. So we need await, otherwise we won't be able to use it. Okay, so we got the connection. Now we will create the collection. Okay, so how to create the collection? Look here. So first thing is we need to define the database name. So here we have not defined the database. Here we have to tell what database I need to use. So I will say constant the DBO. I can name anything, it's a variable name. And here I will name the database. So I will say client.db, and you have to give the name of the DB. So maybe I can put the name of the DB as class test1. Okay. So for today I'm naming it class test1. Next time I create, I will say class test2, class test3. So if you see my database, I don't have class test1 database here, but when I will run this, it will create it here. Now if I say only client.db, it will not create the database name, and it will not create the database here in my Mongo application unless I try to create the collection. So I have to create the collection, and then only the database will be created. Now if I run this code without collection, you will see node 02. You will see, though I'm not getting error, and if I refresh this also, no database is created still. Because with this line of the code, we only mention that this is my database, but it will not create the database immediately. Now I will create a collection, and then the database will be created and collection will also be created. So here I will say await dbo dot create collection. So I will take this DBO, that this database, and create the collection. In the create collection, I will name what collection I want to create. So based on our requirement, I have to create the users collection, jobs collection, resumes collection, and apply jobs. So I have to create all these one. Okay, so let's do it. So I'll create a users correction, and then I will create all collection. One is the jobs, one is the resumes, and another one is applied jobs. So these are the tables which I want to create it. I don't want to mention the field names now. I just need the name of the collection, and field name will be defined as we go further. Okay, so let's run this file again. And in the end, I will say all collections created successfully. This is only I'm putting in the console, but in real world, we will output it to a JSON as a API from the Express, but don't worry about that now. So let's run it again. So it's saying all collections created successfully. Okay, so since I run this, if I go there and we will see what happened in the database. So this is the database. I'll refresh it. As soon as I refresh it, you will see my class test1 is created. And if I go to class test1, I will see all the collections are created: applied job, jobs, resumes, and users. So I created all the tables here successfully. Though if I go inside each one, nothing will be there. Nothing is there. So, so right now I only see the collection name. But when we will insert the record in it, you will see the data has been added in this collections. Okay, so before I go further, just write down this collection part and run it and see if it is working. Okay, so I hope you have completed this one. So we created all the tables here, whatever table we need. Generally, table is the name which we give in the MySQL database. In the MongoDB, we say collection, and we have created all the collection. Now we will insert records in the collection, and we'll see how to add the record in the collection, and then next time we'll read it and then update it and delete it. That's what we have to do. So next file I will create is 03 create.js. Now we will be trying to add record in my collections. So we'll follow the same thing. Right now I'll copy everything, and then right now I'll copy everything, and then we will do only the changes which is needed. So I need, okay, till client I need. Okay. Till client we have this common code. We will be using this again and again. Now what we will do, once the client is connected, I will try to insert the record in one of the collections. Okay, so let's do that. So I'll create a function. I will name it as create listing or create jobs. And it will be asynchronous call. And once the connection is happened here, I'll call this my create jobs function, which is also a wait call because it is asynchronous. Now here I need the client. Every time we need to do something, we need the client. Also I need the record which I want to post it. So I will say record. And record will be object, and in the object we will try to put everything. So I need the client and we need the record. So what we have to do to create a listing, create a job. So what I will say is, if I want to put one record, we will see how to create one record. So since it is a creation of one record, I will name it as create job. I will create another function where I will create multiple jobs. So I will say create jobs as a second function. So here I will only create one record at one time. Here I will create multiple records at one time. Since I have to create multiple records, I will use the records here. But here, since I have to use only one record, I will create a record. So we'll see how to add one record or multiple record. So here in the one record, I will say await client. I will use this client. First, I have to mention which database I want to connect to. So I'll say DB. So what DB I have to connect to? This one, class test one. And then I want to mention which collection I want to add it. So I will say collection. So which collection I want to add it? Right now I'm doing it jobs. So let's put the jobs as a collection. So after collection, we need to call .insert one. Since we need to add only one record, so I'll call the insert one, and I will pass this record inside that one. So whatever record I have, I will put it here inside this insert one. And I will assign it to some variable result equal to this one. And we will see what is the outcome of this result. So I'll do console.log result is result. So what I did, I call the client, I call the database, I call the collection, and then I inserted one record in that database and in that particular collection. And then I see what result I am getting it. So now I have to call this create job with the client. So let's call the client here as a one parameter. And I'll name it as create job first, because we are calling this create job. And second parameter is object which I want to create it. So this is the object which I will be creating. Generally in the real world you will have the form, and you have to take the form elements from the user and put it here. But now we are directly testing in the database how to create it. So here I will create hard-coded values which will really come in from the form when we will write the real code. Okay, so now what I will do, I will take the fields which I need to pass. So ID will be automatically generated. First is the job title. So let's create one job title. So job title will be Senior React JS Developer. So this is the job which is posted that we need a person who is a Senior React Developer. Job description. I will create another field as job description. So maybe good in React, Node.js, Redux. Let's put anything. Then technologies. So for technologies, I will use array. And in the array, I will put React.js, which technology, Node.js, Redux, CSS, HTML, what technologies we need it, JavaScript. Okay, so we need these technologies. And created it, updated it. Right now I'll not work it, otherwise I need the moment. I need the moment module to work on the date thing. So right now I'll not put date time, but when we will work with the real one, we will add the date time also. Okay, so job type. Let's put the job type. It is full time, or maybe we can put array full time, or we need both contractors and full time. Okay, so job type and then the job location. So let's put job location with the object latitude as 1, 2, 3, whatever latitude we are located at. And right now I'm just putting this latitude. Then created by. So I'll put the user ID. Right now we don't have user ID. I'll put just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so we create the record in the job collection, and this is the jobs which we are posting it. Let's run it and see if job is created successfully or not. So say node 03. So you will see I print out this result part, and the result part you have the acknowledge equal to true. That means it worked successfully, a new record is created successfully, and the inserted ID, the record which is inserted is with this ID. So this is the inserted ID in the collection of the jobs. And we will see in the collection, if I go to jobs, you will see the job title is created, job description is created, technology is an array, and job type is array, job location is object, and created by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we got the record here in the collection jobs. Okay, now before going further, we will go to add multiple records. So we have seen how to add the one record. Now we will go and add the multiple records here. So let's create another one. Since it is multiple records, so we need to pass the array. So object will not work. So I need to pass the array of records. Okay, 1 second. Okay, so now we will create the multiple records, create jobs. So we need to pass the array, not the object. Here, you remember we are passing the object because we want to create only one record. But here we will be passing array, and we will be copying this multiple times, 3 times. Okay, and I will change something in the title. So this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5. I'm just creating multiple records so that we can differentiate it between each one. So this one is creating only one job. This one is creating multiple jobs. Since it is a multiple job, we pass the array, and in array we have this object. I'll give you this object in the chat. Maybe if you want to copy same thing as I have created it. So now we will write the code for the create jobs. There is the multiple records. It will be similar to this one, but there is slight difference in the code. So here, instead of insert one, we will say insert many. And instead of result, I will say results, so I can show the results to the user. So if you insert many, you will see the list of IDs which are created on the server. But with this one, you will not see, you see only the one, like this one, inserted ID. But with the insert many, you will see multiple records here. So we will be passing records here, which we get it here. So insert many accepts the array, and insert one accepts the object, which you need to put it on the table. Now let's run it and see. So you will see this is the one record which is created with created job, and this is the record created with the create jobs, that is insert many. You will see 3 records inserted. How many records inserted? 3, and the insert ID of each one. We have different IDs for each one. Let's go to the database and we will see. So I'll refresh it. You will see multiple records are created in the table. Okay, so this is how we created. So now I'll give you 1 minute, 2 minutes to write down the create job, and 2 minutes to this, 1 minute to this, total 5 minutes. You have to finish this in 5 minutes. And that's all for today. Tomorrow, next time in the Node.js class, we'll see how to do the read operation. That is the read part. Okay, so just do this one, and then next time, first before going to the read, I will ask you to create job. Instead of create job, you create the resume and create the applied jobs. So you have to do some exercise on this one next time when we will do in the class. So just finish this and then we're done for today. Okay, so make sure next time you try to learn this lines of the code, insert one and insert many, because we will be creating lot more collection with the records. Not only this one, I will give you 10 to 15 more exercise just to create the record for each one. Okay, so try to remember these two lines of the code, these two and this one, insert many and insert. And next time we'll do first 10 to 15 insertions before we go to read one. Okay, any questions? So make sure you also put a git ignore file, otherwise lot of files will go upload on the server. I'm committing the code. Okay, you can get it. I have not seen any stored procedure in Mongo, though it is a part of MySQL. I don't know whether stored procedure there or not. We need to check it. Let's see. I have never created. I generally don't use Mongo directly. I so told you that I use the parse server in my real world project. But let's see, stored procedure in MongoDB. Let's see if we have or not. Does not support stored procedure. So MongoDB does not support stored procedure. Okay, so the normal stored procedure which we have for MySQL is not available here. Equivalent of stored procedure. Let's see what is that equivalent. So directly, I don't think there is stored procedure, but people have written some roundabout similar to the stored procedure. But the normal stored procedure is not there. Okay, let's see another one. Yeah, something is written differently to make it like stored procedure, but by default, I don't see stored procedure in the MongoDB. Okay, any other question?